All right, troops, welcome to the Anvil Power Hour. We are back, episode two. The Wafflers Strike Back is going to be the name of this one today.
We are back,
Yes, we are
waffling
back.
again.
Yeah, so hope you're ready for another 45 minutes of random gunk. So, like I said, we talked about through the layout. Quickly refresher, we're going to go through our own personal stuff. It's the first part. Second part's our coaching section. I'm going to zoom out again. Turns out that when you have a hand motion camera, it can be a pain in the backside. And section three is going to be about the coaching side of things. So, section one, let's kick it off. Chris, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
Just again, working away, mate. It's been a busy week. A lot of project stuff going on at work just now, which has taken up a lot of time. So yeah, it's been quite busy days, but still managing to get into the gym, get training. Sticking to the new program, the reduced calories, because we're trying to push the weight cut ever so slightly again as well. So, but overall, no, it's been a good week, a really good week. Really
Yes,
enjoyed.
you have retired from strongman now, haven't you, to become a bodybuilder like Terry Hollands?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much, pretty
So
much.
we are now trying to get you to look as good naked as humanly possible.
Abs, mate. We want abs. That's it.
Yeah, we want abs and penis-like skin. So, but no, like again, we talk about this all the time. Like it's perfectly acceptable to have a change in your training method for a period of time. Take one thing I don't understand with athletes in general, and I feel like this is a problem across the board of powerlifters and strongmen, is
hmm
they don't walk away from the sport for like a year or so. They're like, well, I'll just go and do something else, like maintain my interest. Like I see people slumping, like I'm really hating training, but they don't actually try and walk away from it. And
No,
it's
of
not
course.
walking away to never come back. It's going to spend a little bit of time away to focus on something else and
Yeah.
then come back when you feel recharged. Because some of the best breaks I've ever had was when related to the sport, is when I've had to go away and do something else. So a lot of my
hmm
powerlifting and strongman, especially a lot of my powerlifting stuff, was in the army. So I usually had to spend maybe 3, 4 months away for different things, up to 6 months away
hmm
in certain circumstances. And to come back to it after that period of time away, I always enjoyed the sport more. So this is
Yeah.
why I
It's
can't
refreshing.
recommend. Yeah,
Yeah. It becomes a refreshing break from it because it can
yeah.
get a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit tiring sometimes because you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah,
It's repetitive.
it starts creeping into insanity, and like the
Yes.
definition of insanity, repeat the same processes again and again and again and hope for a different result. Whereas this is why you need an off season. I feel like this will be a
hmm
conversation for strongman section later on. It's not today's one, but you need an off season because the off season is just as about much about trying to fix your mental
hmm
love for the sport as it is for getting you stronger to make you perform better. So if you're not
hmm
doing an off season, plan one in because I think it'll massively benefit you in the long run. So
And I think you can. I think you can see it as well. Like when you first start doing the sport, it's like, yeah, strongman, this is great, beginner, novice level, and as you progress up through the ranks to national level, and if you've been doing it a long time as well, it can get a bit tedious as well, and it's time to take a step back every now and again and
yeah,
just look
yeah,
at the bigger picture.
because I think that's like it's you don't fall out of love with the sport. Like
No, not
even
at
though I
all.
don't compete, I still love the sport. And this is the other thing. You don't have to compete. There's a weird thought.
hmm
But you can train strongman. You can love the sport.
Yeah.
You can enjoy it. You don't have to compete. Just go and have fun.
hmm
See, as long as you have fun with it, who cares? As long as
Exactly.
you enjoy it like how you enjoy it.
hmm
Um, and that's it. There was a saying, but I can't remember it, that popped into my head. It's immediately dropped out because it's Sunday and my brain power today is at like 3%. So, oh, that's it. Don't yuck someone else's yum.
That's a good saying.
And
I like
yeah,
that.
and I like it because it's like cool. Like I don't, if you love competing, great. If you just love training it, great. If you like
hmm
doing both, great. Whatever makes you happy, chase the dragon, follow the rainbow.
Yeah.
As long as it makes you happy, you're on to winner. But yeah. So anything else you like to add, or shall we jump on to my side of things?
Aye, how was your week? How was your
Yeah,
week?
so
How's
my
your week
week's
been?
been it's been all right. The weight loss side of things has stagnated this week. I want to talk about something in this that will benefit everyone who's listening, who is looking at large scale weight loss. Is after a certain period of time off, it gets fucking hard to
Yep.
to start moving more. Like you have to reassess a lot of things. Um, but what I want to remind people is if you're going to approach this, do it methodically. So I'm reassessing things right now to fix what the issue is. I'm reassessing this week my steps and my water intake. So I've been pushing my steps up 12,000 steps a day. There's
Hmm.
an extra 2,000 on top of my normal sort of footfall. I'm quite steady in a 10, but those extra two. But my water since Christmas has massively fluctuated.
Hmm.
I suspect the reason what's happening right now is we're retaining a lot of water. I feel a bit bloated. So I'm going to be like this week, I'm going to be addressing my steps and my water. And this is what everyone who's listening should do. If you're struggling to see decrease, pick two things, address it, and then go to another two things. So this week, my goal is to make sure 4 liters to 4.5 liters every single day without fail and 12,000 steps every single day without fail. And then we're going to look at see where the scale, how the scales are moving, and then we'll go from there.
Hmm.
Training wise, it's actually been a good week. I feel like a bounce back from the large fatigue that accumulated at the end towards the weekend. I've trained 3 times
Yep.
this week. I missed one session, but cool. I got 3 of my 4 sessions done. It's not a massive issue, and weights are starting to progress up. Maybe not as quickly as I'd like, but I'll take whatever wins I can get right now.
Yeah.
I've done my bi-yearly bench press session where I've done some long pauses at 140, and now I won't touch bench for another 6 months because it's fucking shit.
I
Flat
quite enjoy
bench,
bench.
it's
I
it's
enjoy
no
flat
use.
bench.
When are you going to lie down and lift something off?
That's
Like
true.
if the
No,
car's crushing
it's
away,
true. It's true.
if a car's crushing away and you're going to deadlift them, like deadlift the car. You're not going to go, I'm going to lie on my back, get underneath it, develop my little arch, lock my lats in, and try and bench press up. No, you're going to grip both sides of the car and hoof it off them. So, yeah, bench, totally useless in a real life situation. So, but, right, let's get on to the bit that everyone's come to listen to, which is probably the strongman section. So today's topic, one that I think a lot of us are very interested in and a very good one to talk about today. Chris, what would your perfect strongman competition be?
Right. So obviously we spoke about this last week, what we
Yes.
were going to talk about. But I've already had some ideas in my head for a long time now, a long, long time. So
Oh,
my ideal
right.
strongman competition, right?
Just before you
Venue.
start, I'm going to
Yep.
cut in. Any comp organizers out there, see if you steal these ideas, at least give us the common credit to credit us with the fact that you pinched the ideas from us. No steely, no steely.
Right. So venue, the Esplanade at Edinburgh Castle.
Okay.
So during when Edinburgh military tattoos on when it's all built up with the grandstands, that'd be my ideal venue, and it would be at evening as well when the lights starting to fade. Um, so first event I would have max log, and it would be on a wooden log. 3 attempts. I think that would look quite cool in the Esplanade.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good one. You're going to notice a theme here as well with it's going to be tied in with how the castle is and that as well, all
Yeah.
right? It's
Okay.
going to
Right.
be
Yeah.
very like medieval themed, right? So so second event would be a silver dollar, right? But
Okay.
increasing weights, but it would be like cages on the side of the bar.
Mhm.
And for the weight to increase, it would be cannonballs would be dropped in
All right.
into
Yeah.
the
That's cool.
cages.
So like eight
Yeah,
pounders, like 8 or 12
exactly.
pounder
Yep,
cannonballs.
exactly. So yeah, drop cannonballs in, and that would increase the weight. So that's your silver dollar ladder
Mhm.
essentially. Um, After that, we would go arm over arm, and it would be arm over arm pulling a cannon. I
Okay,
think.
yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
I'm not opposed to this idea. They're not super heavy because of the wheels and stuff on them, but there's definitely probably ways you can make it heavier.
Oh,
Like
of
maybe
course, you
like
can
a
load
chain.
cannonballs into it or something,
Yeah.
or
Load a chain of cannons.
yeah,
So
aye,
like,
yeah,
but that sounds cool.
yep. After that, we would have shield carry, like a
Hmm.
big, like nice big shield, again, medieval castle themed. And the last one would be a Atlas stone run onto barrels. Just yeah, that
Yeah,
would
because
that's it.
they
Yeah,
are the
that's it.
standard.
Aye.
Like if you like I'm of the opinion, and I get why competitions don't do it, especially at novice
Hmm.
levels and beginner levels, but stones are such an intricate part of strongman
Yep.
that they should always be in there in some way, shape, or form. Now,
Hmm.
does it have to be Atlas stones every single time? Excuse me, probably not. You could probably get away some natural stones or something like that.
Hmm.
Excuse me, yeah. But I definitely think that there should be some form of stone in there.
Yeah, or even for the natural strongman are doing the rubber stones as well, like stone to
Yeah,
shoulder and that. It's yeah,
yeah, with
I do
those
agree
steel
with you.
stones.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I do think it just makes it that little bit more interesting.
yeah.
And I think it's a traditional sport. Like it's
And
a
if you
very
s-
traditional one.
yeah, and if you speak to somebody that's not involved in the sport who watches it at Christmas, the first thing they mention is the big concrete balls. That's
Yeah,
what they always say, the big concrete balls.
it's either those or the log, like
Yeah,
those, or truck pulling,
yep.
like pulling the planes, pulling the trains, and stuff like that. All those kind of things are seen, and I think they're sort of like quintessential
Hmm.
strongman events. But
Yeah.
no, that's a fun event. Like that's totally different from what I was expecting. Like much more showy, which is what I
Yes.
like. Like, and
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes this is lost a bit in strongman because as much as strongman is a competition, it's also a
Hmm.
show,
Yep.
and we need to be better at doing the show part of
Hmm.
strongman. Like we go for the charisma of the athletes. We go for this sort of like the big curls. Like we see this especially like we see with the bigger events and stuff like that.
Hmm.
The charisma is what you're there for. You're looking for the big show. Like
Of course.
you see so many strong men pop over to just wrestling and vice versa
Hmm.
come across from wrestling and do extremely well because the showmanship and the presence is there to allow them to really sort of own the stage. And I think that makes it so much more interesting, like having that kind of that sort of show part of the strongman side of
Hmm.
things.
And I think, yeah, up at the castle would be nice. Esplanade at night with the light
Yeah.
fade in. You've got the athletes coming out the castle. If it's international athletes are carrying their respective
Mhm.
countries' flags. You could have pipers there because obviously
Yeah.
you've got there's a unit of the army are based there. They
Yeah.
pipe and march
Is
and
it,
that.
I think it's three, is it three Scots?
It
Going to
could be.
really annoy a load of people. If it's not three Scots, then I'm probably going to get myself shot. I don't know. I've been out the army for like 12 years at this point. I don't know where anyone's based anymore. So, but yeah, there's definitely one of the Royal Regiments of Scotland are based up near Edinburgh and stuff like that. So, but no, it actually sounds pretty cool. Like it's different, which is where I think that's why I miss about strongman competitions to an extent.
Hmm.
Sometimes is I think some of them feel a bit samey,
Hmm.
but seeing more variety in competitions is definitely something that
I
is
th
good that we need to see more of.
I think one organisation that hits that quite well is the Strongman Champions League. If you ever watch any of that, some of
Yes,
the
yeah,
venues
I
that they
was
pick
a
and some of the
huge fan of
things that
them.
they do, yeah,
Mhm.
really enjoy watching some of them. Like they have them at castles or
Yeah,
on beaches and different things like that.
yeah, I especially like the see the more it tends to be the more Eastern Bloc country like Lithuania
Yeah.
and those kind of places. The competitions on there are always awesome because like I remember one I can't I think well, it might be in Lithuania, it might be somewhere else, can't remember off the top of my head. But it could have been the Czech Republic actually. They done it in a wee country village.
Oh yeah.
And it was done like the competition was ran and you could see all the old cobbled buildings around
Hmm.
it and stuff like that. And it was just really nice to like it was a nice scenery set
Hmm.
that worked really well.
I watched
So
that one recently. I think that was Serbia. I'm sure that was one
yeah,
of the
maybe,
Serbian Strongman Champions League.
possibly,
I've
yeah.
seen that one recently.
Uh-huh. Like, but I know a few people have done it in different locations, like similar to that. But yeah, like there's a few done at castles and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It just like I do think that when it comes to the competitions, where the scene is set is just as important as the competition itself. Like it's great doing them in gyms. Gyms make them really easily accessible, but
Hmm.
once in a while having it at like like a nice venue is good
Hmm.
and totally different. Like I think I'd much rather see Scotland's Strongest Man than something like that. Now I know it's always held in the SECC for certain reasons, but I feel like doing it to like maybe Stirling Castle or something like that would just
Yeah.
be it would just be that little bit more like picturesque, but I also
Aye.
understand that doing it to the SECC guarantees that the athletes get the best chance to compete because they don't have to take into consider things like weather and stuff like that. And when we
Of
live in
course.
Scotland, where the weather can change four times in a single day, I don't
That's so
blame
true.
them for making sure that we prioritize the safety of the athletes above all else. Because
Hmm.
regardless of what you think, one thing that should always carry above anything else is safety of athletes first, enjoyment of sport second.
Hmm.
And if you disagree with that, kindly get on a boat and fuck off somewhere quiet.
But I think,
Uh,
yeah, no, but I think you're right, and I think that's what World's Strongest Man's missing just now because they
yeah,
used to host that in different countries. Like
uh-huh.
you think of Botswana, when Eddie won it, like that was
Yeah,
very picturesque, and it's been in America pretty much
yeah.
since
I
then.
mean, well, excuse the China one because that was horrifically cheesy and bad. It was a great comp, but the outfits were
Yeah, I
fucking
remember that. I remember.
horrendous.
Is it, I think it's Big Laws
Yeah,
posts a photo of him every now and again in the outfit
yeah,
for it.
that silver outlet was
Yeah.
diabolical. Like, I take my hat off to the lads that they did it. They weren't in stitches while they were trying to record it and stuff like that. But I do think that to an extent missing. Like, America's a great venue for it,
Hmm.
but I want to see it go to different countries again, like, especially more the mainstream countries, because I think you could have an excellent Scotland, a World's Strongest Man in Scotland or in England,
Yeah.
definitely in Ireland. Like there's so many nice places
Yeah.
across Europe and stuff like that that would just it would be fantastic. And it's expensive going to America every year to watch World's Strongest Man, whereas if it was in the UK or Europe, much easier accessible for
Yeah.
I know for us now, granted for the other side of the pond, less so, but if they were to alternate maybe 2 years in America, 1 year in Europe or the UK,
Hmm.
I definitely know I would make more of an effort to try and go because right now it's just the financial constraints of trying to get across to America. It's
Yeah.
difficult right now. So, and that's why I don't try and go. But then again, hopefully as my client base builds, it's definitely something I'd like to do is to try and make the pilgrimage to World's Strongest Man because I think that'll be a fantastic show to watch live. Like I like watching on TV, but there's something different about seeing I think that level of
Hmm.
caliber athletes watching them live and stuff like that would be
Oh,
bloody
definitely. I mean,
amazing to see.
I've been to the tour finals in
Yeah,
Glasgow, and it's so good being there watching it.
yeah. I've been to the tour finals once or twice and I like it, but I just I think it's too much compacted into too short a time, which I get because they're on time restraints, so I
Hmm.
totally understand. But having like nearly a full week of strongman where you can just
Yeah.
dip in and out to watch different things, I think that'd be awesome.
Oh, definitely.
Because I am a huge fan of the 2 day events. I think the 2 day events are actually really good because it really show lets athletes perform their best on each individual day and stuff like that. And from an aspect of a viewing aspect, I feel like you can enjoy much more of it. Like whereas in sort of like the 1 day, especially like tour finals, and I get why they need to do it, but it's so compacted down into such a
Hmm.
tight space. Like it almost feels like it's blasted through and you can't enjoy it as much as what
Yeah.
you'd potentially like to for seeing athletes of that caliber going at it and stuff like that.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I
So,
suppose we better talk about my one.
aye, what about yours?
Right. So I would like, as you've put in a lot of things that I hadn't actually thought about, so I'm now going to rearrange what I'm about to say. So venue would
Hmm.
be at a large scale event. So what I mean by this would be something like a big Highland Games style event or like a big open day. So I want like a big thing with lots of different things going on at the same
Hmm.
time. Like I'd love like a big sort of one thing I'd love to see is it would be like a huge sort of test of strength style event where you maybe have like the Highland Games going and the strongman going at the same time, like
Hmm.
CrossFit, arm wrestling, all the different types of strength brought together onto one. Like, and we see it in like the Arnolds and stuff like that, but I think we need something in the UK, but much more of like a traditional style of it. So much more geared towards like traditional stuff, like strength contests and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So where we can show the history of strength as well as the competition. So, and I'll explain how I'd run this as we go through it. So I think like I'm no fuss, like a big field would be pretty cool. Um, or like some kind of like a castle sounds good, but I'm not going to steal your idea because you stole that, you got that one first. But what I would where I'd actually like to hold it is on an old military base. And there's a reason for it because a lot of old military bases have very nice, big, wide-spanning parade grounds. And the parade ground's always designed to have seating fitted into them and stuff like that. So they
Hmm.
make excellent podium spaces for competition. So the big sort of like military parade grounds where they used to do drill competitions and stuff like that. When those nice big old sort of military style bases, I think that would be really cool. And because you could also get flags up, so you can have all your flags in the background and stuff like that on
Yep.
the mast. And I think it just look really nice, and you can always set it up as with a really nice display in the background. So the strongman comps I would have in would be first. I'm going to go a little bit more traditional in my approach. I would like to see circus barbell for reps, overhead, floor to overhead, because
Interesting.
I would like the like it's a bit more. I feel like it's a bit more of like historical style strongman stuff, and this is I
Hmm.
like to bring the old and the new together. So like I would like to see that in there where we're bringing in maybe some of the more old traditional style strongman events,
So
circus.
like so like the barbell they had in the press medley at Worlds last
Yes,
year.
so yeah,
It's got like
so
the
see
big
that.
balls almost on the end.
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
just
got
looks a
you.
little bit more like the old traditional circus style strongman events. Um, so that would be my first event, and then what we do interpose that in the rest break would be one of the tests of strength or one of the historical strength sports in there as a gap. So there'd be gap
Hmm.
fillers to allow people to, if they wanted to watch and learn about it, and like they could watch and be like a couple of athletes competing in that while the scenes getting set up behind them. So we're not having to wait for the
Hmm.
next event. We're constantly having something going on. So for example, like the mass wrestling, that's
Hmm.
quite that's quite keen. So like that old Viking style wrestling stuff, that could be a couple of stations could be set up quickly. They're putting that on while they're setting the competition around the back and stuff like that. And there could be someone there describing it, explaining
Hmm.
how it works and all that kind of stuff, just to keep the day moving on. The second event
Yep,
I would be going for would be the Hummer tire deadlift because it looks fucking cool.
it does.
Yeah,
It
like
really does.
yeah, and it's just one of those ones where I'm like, it's just a spectacle.
Hmm.
Like, and I love spectacle. Like, I love spectacle in my sport. Like, the bigger and better it is, the better. Like, one thing I love about like the Shaw Classic is there's always something fucking cool
Yep.
to watch. Event number three would be either because there's an either to this one due to the fact that depending on what we could get access to, either Conan's Wheel,
Hmm.
which I'm always a fan of. I think that's a good one, or I'd like that big Wheel of Pain from
Interesting.
Arnold because again, spectacle.
Hmm.
It just looks cool. And then event number four would be a load and drag. And again, just because we could find some cool implements to load.
Hmm.
So maybe like a disused artillery shell or something like that that's filled with concrete.
Hmm.
So it's like maybe like it's like 100, 150 kilos or something like something big and heavy, but again, it looks cool. And then like a big anvil or like a bigger like just we'll find cool things to load into a big thing, which then just drag across the parade square. Because the good thing about parade square, it's wide and it's flat, so we've got loads of space to work with and stuff like that. And
I
then
suppose with stuff like that, like the implements you've picked there, like not many people would be able to get their hands on them to train for something like that. So it would be turn up on the day and let's see what happens kind of thing.
yeah, it's a bit of a fucking find out kind of moment,
Yeah.
isn't it? To an extent, yeah, and that would be the thing. Like, if I was to run this competition and I had this, like, I'd have access to the equipment, be able to allow people to get their hands on it and stuff like that. That's
Hmm.
why, like, a Conan's wheel is probably more leaning towards it. But I just like that big wheel of pain looking thing because it looks cool and it's such a because of Arnie and Conan, that's almost been cemented in strongman history long before it ever turned into an event
Yeah.
like of that kind of thing. And I think it's just cool to watch. And then the last event I would do ascending natural stone to shoulder.
Ascending natural stone to
Or stone to
shoulder.
shoulder, yes. And I did think about Atlas stones, but I feel like the competition I'm trying to put on right now is there's a lot more tradition and we're trying to marry up some more of the old school style events that we don't see as
Hmm.
much anymore and I'd like to see come back. So, and I feel like that would be quite cool. And that, like, we've had long-standing history across Europe, across the whole of Europe and the UK and Ireland of natural stone lifting. So I think
Hmm.
that would very much be a sort of salute to something that's across the historical board and like across the world, rather than just simply Atlas stones. Atlas stones are good. I'm not going to deny that, but I feel like natural stone to shoulder would just be something a little bit more interesting and stuff like that.
It's yeah, it's that historic raw test of
Yeah,
strength that stood for
hmm
hundreds of years. You look at
exactly. Yeah,
the ones across Scotland and the history of them, like the Dinnie
hmm
Stones, for example, as well.
yeah,
Like it's what we're famous for. It's what people come here to do.
yeah. And I think that just makes it like we. One thing I've noticed about both our sort of selection is it's big on spectacle.
Hmm.
Like it's big on spectacle. Like we haven't, not neither of us have really recommended any of the slightly more, shall we say, boring like events.
Bag
Like there
throws.
was, yeah, bag throws, fuck bag throws. Like there is like that kind of stuff's gone. Not because it's just like I understand why it's in there. It's quite handy, but it's just not a spectacle.
Hmm.
I want to be wowed. Like when I walk away from a competition, I want to go, wow, that was awesome.
Hmm.
That's something that I will never forget.
Of course, and if you're filling grandstands like at Edinburgh Castle during the
Mhm.
tattoo or a military parade arena, like what
Yeah.
you're on about. Like you want the audience to be immersed in it. You want
Uh-huh.
them to walk away and go, "Wow, did you see what he done there?" Or "How
Exactly. Yeah.
cool was that?" Like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's that's the point in it.
And I think with a big thing from the reason why I chose all my events was the ability to allow for a lot of showmanship.
Hmm.
Every single one of my events is something you can put a show on doing.
Hmm.
Like the circus dumbbell, we've seen loads of guys like the sort of hype around that. The Hummer deadlift, like some of the stuff when you see some of the guys in, especially like the old Arnolds getting ready to pull all those kind of things, seeing like how much personality they put into it. Even if it's
Hmm.
as small as where when Brian Shaw did it and he pulled locked out the rep and the blood was running down his nose, he just dropped it and raised his arm up in there like that, and you're just like that going,
Yeah,
"Fuck, that was cool."
yeah.
Like that, you're just like, "Fuck, that was awesome," and like they were just how much gravitas and control they took across that whole sort of that those kind of sport, like those kind of
Hmm.
lifts, and I want to see more of that. I'd love to see more of that back in strongman. Bring back more of the showmanship side of strongman because
I think one guy that really sticks out for me like that is Iron Bibi when he's broken the axle on the log record. He
Yeah.
does his backflips and
Yeah, and stuff like
has.
that.
Aye, he's a very humble guy when you hear him speaking, but he
Mhm.
likes that bit showmanship, and
Yeah.
you can see the way he reacts when he does something good like that. He does his backflips, and a guy that's at what 200 odd kilo body weight doing
Yeah.
that. That's
It's
bloody
it's awesome to see.
impressive.
But like even like if we go back to Scotland, like it's Page, isn't it? P-E-J. Page.
Peach.
Yeah, like he was always a good one for showmanship at the Scotland's Strongest Man competitions and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like he was always someone that I remembered because he would be actively trying to get the crowd involved
Hmm.
in the events and stuff like that to get the cheering and the chants going. And
Yeah.
I think that's like I want to see more of that myself. Like I'd love to see more of that because I think that would be that's what I sometimes miss about strongman
Yeah.
events
And
is
I think another guy that sticks out like that for me is Callum Crozier.
yes, Callum is very, very good at
It's
it.
because
Like
Yeah, at Scotland's this year I was helping and Martin interviewed him and I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something like, I'm so fucking strong you don't even know, like on the
yeah.
microphone to everybody. It's brilliant. I love
I
stuff
know,
like
but
that.
like that's cool. Like, and I love that kind of stuff, like that kind of showmanship, that kind of presence.
Hmm.
It's something that we definitely need back in strongman. And I get like if you're going for your first couple competitions, it can be quite daunting and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I loved when I see the personalities of the M lifters come out more and more and more
Yep.
because it's really cool to see. So right. I don't think there's really much else on this topic that we can talk about. So, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Nah, I like both those ideas. I think they're both great, and I agree with you on the showmanship and spectacle side
Yeah.
of things. I think we both nailed that there.
Like I said, didn't steal it, you bunch of thieving bastards. Okay, so we are going to move on to the coaching topic today. So the coaching topic is sort of where I get to talk a little bit more again. And we've got two things to talk about today. The first part is a wee client story because I feel like these are incredibly important because I want you to understand my process of thinking when I deal with clients. And the second point is check-ins, why they're important, why you need them, and why if your coach isn't doing them, your coach is a fucking lazy wanker. I said it. Fucking sue me. So, right, so first things first, let's talk about the client story. So these are sort of becoming in a little bit more frequently. They're called, I'm going to refer to as a client case study. And we're going to talk through some of the clients I've had past and present and how I worked with them. So specifically, one that we'll be talking about today is I worked with a lass called Barbara Sharp, fantastic class. Came back from broken spine. So she slept, smashed her back on some stairs, if I remember correctly, and had to go into a full spinal brace. So we can say that when she came out that brace, her entire life had changed. Where we went with this was we then moved on. She came to see me in the gym because I'd worked a lot with helping people come back from injury. And this wasn't too long, I think, after I'd just come back from my bicep tear. Now, I point out I'm not a medical professional, and everything that we did with Barbara, I bounced off her physio to make sure that we were doing things safely and correctly. And when dealing with injuries as a personal trainer or as a coach, I always like to have the physio's details so I can drop them emails and messages so they know where I'm going in trading, so they know have they've got a plan to work with. Because at the end of the day, if and I've spoken to Barbara since we actually had a conversation a couple of months ago, just in passing. She was like, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I'd be where I am today. And that was the benefit of coaching. So it massively changed her life. And where she went was from not being able to bend over, so she was completely erect, with a very difficult to actually even lean forward. To the point when she finished working with me, she was off to start pole dancing. So that gives you the sort of
Wow.
where we've gone. Yeah, like it's not a small amount of things. She developed enough strength to allow her to go and do pole dancing and the flexibility and mobility in her spine again to allow her to do that from coming out of a full spinal brace. That's a big,
That's
big swap. So how did we do it? So how did we go around about this? First things first, we kept things mega, mega basic. to the extent where a lot of it was just little simple things like learning to like stand up and sit down again. And then we used a lot of TRX tools to start developing back. Now, the TRX, a lot of people make fun of the TRX. I think it's a fantastic bit of kit for allowing people to train on because I could get her after the initial sort of strengthening phase using dumbbells and bands and kettlebells. We started doing little things. And the first things we done with her for her spine, for her back strengthening was literally get a band, wrap it around a pole, and just do so like rows with a band, just that light assisted rows, getting her used to the movement patterns, light dumbbells, overhead work, just getting the muscles moving again that hadn't been moved in so long. They've been locked up and sort of restricted by the brace now. Was it clean sailing? Hell no. I remember being on, like, we were talking, some PT sessions would turn into just in the assessment room in Pure Gym, just talking. I'd spend an entire session talking. And you know what? That's not a waste of a PT session if you're working in person, because I think that's huge. Like we would sit and talk through our problems or stresses or concerns. We try and be constantly trying to alleviate them, reduce them, and try and make her feel better. Because where Barbara done really well was she was so committed to improving herself. I helped, but she was the one who did all the work. I couldn't have been proud of how much she put into trying to better herself, and she never gave up. And there were times where she really struggled, but like a good client that she was, she would speak to me. We'd be on the phone chatting or be exchanging messages, or if we were in the gym, we were sitting chatting, making sure that we could talk her through that process. And then,
Hmm.
like I said, like I think it was maybe a year and a half later, 2 years later, I was coaching her, and it's like it wasn't that she was like, "Oh, by the way, Craig, just to let you know, this is going to be the last month of coaching. I'm going to be wrapping up." I was like, "Okay," and she was like, "I'm going to start pole dancing next month, and I want to get myself a private instructor for that." And I couldn't have been prouder. Like that was the perfect sort of ending to it because she's like she's now strong enough and independent enough and confident enough in herself to actually be able to progress forward to do something that she thought she'd ever be able to do. And yeah, definitely like for where she was, like the oversight of having one-on-one work is incredibly important, and I wouldn't have denied that to her. But I was so proud of her. Like it wasn't like it is one of my defining moments as a coach, like, and it's one thing like I've helped people to world level, like I've helped people become world champions in powerlifting, like I've helped athletes get to podium places in international strongman competitions and national level strongman competitions. That sits as one of my highest
Hmm.
ranking goals ever because I helped change someone's life for the better. I made someone happier and be able to actually live their life rather than being stuck, never being able to move again. Because we've seen what happens to some people after these sort of competition, like after these injuries and stuff, they end up never being able to move properly again in their life. But I managed to help her achieve something that she never thought she could do. And it was for me a crowning achievement. It one of my sort of like jewels in my crown as a coach. Like that's a huge thing for me. So that is the client case study. I hope you got some benefit out of it. The idea behind the show, like how I worked, so it wasn't just quite simply 2 months later she was there. It took 2 years. It took 2 years. It took a lot of small movements and a lot of small exercises, slowly building things up, introducing static exercises, isometric exercises onto light machine work for legs, into things like leg press was one of the last things that we applied due to the downward potential pressure on the spine from being on the bench and stuff like that. And going through the leg motion and stuff like that. So we done loads of things, but seeing where she was at the end, where she could do everything, and she's actually working with another coach right now in a gym. I'm not too sure where, but she seems to be loving life and she's getting right back into it. So it's really good to see her actually on social media, like smashing out her training again. It's really nice to see. Cool. So, is there anything you want to ask about that or anything? Because again, we haven't sort of discussed this bit. I think for next week, if we're
Nah,
going to do this kind of stuff, we're going to discuss maybe the events ahead so you can have some questions and stuff like that if you need them. But any questions you want to raise at the minute?
I think that story there, that's made you think as well. You've had to sharpen your mind, your tools to get her
Yes.
there. You know what I mean? Like that's something so different from being a PT for somebody walking through the door and going, Craig, I want to lose 2 stone, or Craig, I want to get stronger. That's somebody that literally could not move. You
Yeah.
became the middle man there to get her to her final goal of doing pole
Yeah.
dancing, and something that you've had to probably go away and learn a lot about as well due
Oh
to
yeah,
the
I'm
trauma of
not
the
going to lie.
injury.
I'm not going to lie. I was shitting myself. At every point of that coaching experience, I was fucking shitting myself because I was very aware of what I could potentially do would be the risk factor that came into it. But that's why I was constantly in contact with her physio, making sure that her
Hmm.
physio knew what she was doing so he could go, yeah, I'm happy with that. Go ahead with that, or oh, I don't want to see that. I'd rather not that happen. So she was in with her physio every so like 1 to 2 weeks.
Hmm.
So I always had the plan set up to give to her to take to her physio, so her physio could look at it and go, okay, right, cool, I'm happy with that. Crack on, or I'd like
Yeah.
this and this change and stuff like that. And I think that the key thing in this situation is communication. And that was the key thing between me, Barbara, and her physio was there was a constant line of communication that worked around and around and around. Like we never stopped not communicating. And if you're a client, communicate. Like always
Hmm.
communicate. If you're not talking to your coach, that's a problem. And it's something that needs to be addressed.
Hmm.
Like we are busy people, but we always time for our clients because you the people who pay us.
Hmm.
But more importantly is if you don't tell us, especially when you're having problems, how do we know when we need to step in and fix? Now, I do my best to try and message every single one of my clients weekly anyway,
Hmm.
but at the same time, though, like a weekly check in or a bi weekly check in might be too late. So if you're having problems, reach out to your coach, speak to them, um,
Definitely.
and then go from there.
And I think that's a great segue into the last bit, which is check-ins.
Yeah, check-ins. It's almost like I planned it. I didn't. I really didn't plan it. Um, but yes, check-ins, the thing that you should be doing that you probably aren't. And it's for one of two reasons. The second reason is going to hurt your feelings. The first one is because your coach doesn't do them. Fair enough. The second reason is because you're too fucking lazy to fucking do your check-ins. And I don't like this is where I'm going to be honest at this point. The check-ins are there for you to use to make you better. The check-ins allow me to provide you, especially from my check-ins, I use them to provide me background data to make sure I know how you're sleeping, how your stress is, etc., etc., etc. And it allows me to monitor things that identify issues. I can sometimes identify issues when it comes to creeping up before you can by looking at data. So, for example, if I'm looking at data and let's use your sleep because with my clients I track their sleep. If I see that their sleep's constantly getting worse and worse and worse, they're waking up or they're more unrest every single week. I know that something's happening that requires probably a deload, especially if we're ramping up training. If we're ramping up training, sleep quality is getting worse, stress getting
Hmm.
worse, then I'm like, right, cool. I need to know that. Plus, the other thing is, if you've gone through a fucking hell of a week of work with stress or a family incident that's required the stress levels to go through the roof, I need to then reduce training to allow your body to compensate for that amount of stress. Because if you do not compensate for that amount of stress, injury rates go high. And this is one of the main things about check-ins is they minimize injury rates, but they also allow me to physically talk to you. And that's an important thing. So how we work check-ins in Anvil is one of two ways. It's either a video recorded check-in or a video call. The reason why I do these is because they provide the best data. I don't do Facebook, I don't do email check-ins, I don't do WhatsApp check-ins because they're fucking shit. Like, what kind of feedback can I get from, are you doing okay? Aye, all right. It's not going to help me at all. It's not going to help you at all. Like, I need a full bit of information and that kind of stuff
Hmm.
that's needed. So we do check-ins to actually physically help improve your performance and then go from there. So the check-in is there to help make you a better athlete in the gym. But the check-in also carries across usually your nutrition information, your training information, all that kind of stuff gets included in your check-in. So for us, let's take a video check-in because they're both the format's the exact same. Just the difference between the two is if I'm talking to you like I'm talking to Chris now in video format, or if it's recorded and it's sent to you directly as a video. So first thing we talk about is the feedback data, and the feedback data is like your calories, your sleep, your weight, your stress levels, all that kind of stuff, like any off-plan meals, etc., etc., etc. It's all filled out on the data sheet.
hmm
We talk through all that kind of stuff. We try and identify trends. We try and identify concerns, queries, etc. The next thing that we talk through is about you as a person, so how your week's been, any stressors, any things that aren't included on the sheet that you feel you need to tell me about. And that can be anything. Like for one of my clients, it was exam season across December. In fact, for three of my clients, it was exam season across December. So that was a high stress period. So we reduced training to allow the clients to focus more on actually being able to complete their exams. So that's good thing about check-ins. I can reduce training at certain points to allow you to focus on other stresses, and as soon as those stresses are out the way, let's bang training back up. So, and the other thing we do in check-ins is video assessment reviews. Now, I used to do these via WhatsApp. I don't like doing them via WhatsApp anymore. The reason why is because doing them via video actually allows me to share the screen with you. We get to watch the video together, and I can stop, pause, break down, and explain things while we're watching the video together. That provides better feedback. Now, with my video reviews, if you send me a video through and I've got time to look at it, which I inevitably do most days, maybe not immediately when you send it through, but within a couple of hours, if there's anything strikingly concerning, I will immediately message and go, okay, right, like you've missed depth on this one, try like reposition your feet, or
hmm
if your hips are really like your hips look really tight, you need to stretch them out, or Christ, we need a deload next week because you're fucking looking like a bag of smashed tatties at this point with how you're moving. Like they're like literally, I can tell from videos sometimes when people need deloads because you can just tell by how they move how much pain they're in. They're like, right, their bodies are so burnt out that they need actual sort of deloads and stuff like that. It's such an important tool, the check-in, to actually provide for me to transfer information to you, but it's also for you to transfer information to me. So if you're struggling or you need more help or you need something, that's what the
hmm
check-in's for. And don't neglect the check-in. If your coaches offer a check-in, use it because it's going to help you. It's not going to help anyone else. It's going to help you. Like, would I prefer all my clients not to do check-ins? Definitely not, because I feel like I'm missing the gun on some point. Do I want all my clients to do their check-ins? Yes.
hmm
Are some of them just fucking, are some people just too bone idle lazy to do them? Yes. And that's like, you don't see the value in them because you've never given them the chance to see if they actually work. And if your coach doesn't do check-ins, go find yourself a better coach because they don't really give a fuck about you. You're basically paying, if you're paying coaching prices for programming levels of service, go find someone else who actually give a fuck about you. Because one thing I notice with, especially with a lot of coaches that don't do check-ins, is they're also the first ones to fucking complain about clients being flaky. Like, why are you complaining about clients being flaky? You literally do not provide them the support to improve because you do not provide some kind of check-in service for them. So they can't actually approach you with their concerns and queries because they're too busy not being able to contact you, or you're putting them off because you're posting social media content about them being flaky when they're like, well, I actually have problems, but you're just not fucking listening to me. So if your coach doesn't do a a check-in, go find a better coach. Come work with me. I'll fucking give you a check-in. I'll give you a service that you actually deserve. And that's not a sort of call to action to come and work with me. It's just a fucking fact. So yeah, I tried to swear less during this episode. Towards the end, I got into my rant mode and it happened. But right, I think we'll wrap up here. Do you have any questions about check-ins and stuff like that since I've done the majority of the talking in this section?
no any questions. It's more just echoing what you're saying. I love my weekly check-in with you because it is my time to ask you questions. And
Mhm.
even if there is something going on that's causing you stress or that, like you might speak to the same 4 or 5 people round about you, but
Yeah,
it's good to speak to you about it as well because you
yeah.
take a different outlook on things. You could say, right, try X, Y, and Z to maybe help
Mhm.
that, or have you tried doing this? And like you say, the more information I can give you, the better service you can provide to me.
I mean, yeah, but let's put it in perspective. See, if it wasn't for your check-ins, we'd have never changed your training method.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because it was,
Because
it was
I,
in one of your check-ins, you were like, I'm fucking done in. Like, I'm just bored
yeah,
of strongman. I was like,
hmm
all right, let's fucking change it.
yeah,
Whereas
exactly.
if you're a coach that just pumps out programs, you'll never know this because you might
hmm
never interact with your clients. Like, I've seen coaches are like, oh, pay me X amount and here's your program, but I won't fucking speak to you. Like, fuck off. Like, someone
hmm
charging 100 quid a month for that. Fuck off. Pay me 30 quid more than that, and you can get onto my online coaching service where you'll hear from me every single fucking week. And I'll actually give a fuck about you, like, rather than paying someone 100 quid a month to be fucking ignored, except for once a month when they send you a program. It's
hmm
fucking mental.
But I think the other thing that should be said there as well is it's not just a weekly check-in. I mean, there's times where I've picked up the phone to you in between check-ins because I'm struggling
Mhm.
with something or I need something changed or that. And yeah, that's fine. I'll get it done. It'll be done by,
Mhm.
aye, it'll be
By
done in
like,
the next hour for you or the end of
yeah.
the day, whatever
Yeah,
your time
if
scale
I'm
is.
close to my computer, it'll be done pretty much immediately. If
Yeah.
I'm away from my computer, it'll be done as soon as I'm anywhere near one of my computers
hmm
and stuff there. And that's it. And I think that's another type of check-in, the emergency check-in system. Like if you cannot turn around, like granted coaches are busy, sometimes they can't answer the phone. But if I get the red alert text where I'm like, need to speak to you ASAP, bet your bottom dollar, like you're getting a phone call. You're not getting a text message. If
hmm
I see something that I'm like, fuck, I'm like, right, when are you free for a phone call?
hmm
Because that's like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about like, fuck texting because texting's good when it's general conversation between the coach and the athlete. But for like emergencies, no, I'm
Yeah.
going to be phoning you
hmm
because that's far too important for any form of misinterpretation of feelings via text and stuff like that.
hmm No,
Cool.
I totally agree
Right.
with you.
I think at this point we'll probably call it because we've been going for a good 45, maybe even nearer an hour this time. So we might have a new record for the um the podcast, which is good because it's episode 2, the Wafflers strike back, and I feel
The
like we've
Wafflers
really
strike
struck.
back.
So, troops, if you would like, comment, and subscribe for me, please, that would be great. If you want to come and speak to me about anything, drop us a message. You can either contact one of us on either of our social media pages, or you can stick in the comments below. And what you can do for me is I want to hear about your perfect strongman competition. So get that in the comments below. And if some of them are good, we might talk about them next week and stuff like that. Till then, have a great week, troops. Any questions, drop us a message and we'll catch you later. Goodbye.